The setup I use is actually relatively simple if you discount this unnecessarily long HDMI cable. The HDMI cable connects the TV and the Elgato capture device. The Elgato is then connected through another HDMI cable to the PS4. And then we'll go back down and see that the Elgato is also connected via USB down to my laptop. The first thing we'll want to look at when launching OBS is the settings. So your stream settings are in here, stream key, all this sort of stuff. I can link to how to set that up in the description below, but I won't be going over that here. But the output is important. If you use Twitch to stream, the constant bitrate 3500 with 2 keyframe interval is what Twitch recommends. And if you use a bitrate higher than 3500, then they may even stop you from accessing their service while you are using that higher bitrate. That is the maximum they generally allow unless you are a Twitch partner. However, if you go over to the recording tab, you can set whatever ridiculous things you want. You'll want for sure the recording format to be MP4 or one of the possible other ones that are not FLV, because the most important reason why I use this program is recording to multiple audio tracks. So if you see here, I have 3 different audio tracks being rendered out to this video as I record it. I have increased the rate to VBR, which means it should be better in general. It won't be as large of a file. The bit rate, I just add a big 0 on the end to 3500 for quality. Don't even know what that is. Key interframes to auto. That's fine. This will record the file out to the hard drive at a much higher bit rate and much better quality for uploading to YouTube. Next, you'll need to add your audio device over here. Just a drop down. My microphone is a Blue Snowball, and that's it. Then you'll want to set your mixer settings down here by hitting the little cog next to the mixer. As you see over here, there are tracks. Right now I have my desktop audio going to no tracks, my mic going to track 1 and track 2, and the Elgato, the video capture device, going to track 1 and track 3. This means track 2 and track 3 are separate and can be easily edited later on. Now, the one weird thing about the Elgato is that the video and audio do not sync up well when you're not using their software. So you'll have to play around with this number here to offset the audio so that it matches up with the video that is being recorded. It doesn't always meet this number. It can go up to, I think, anywhere up to 600 or so. I forget the exact amount in the documentation. I'll see if I can also dig up the link for that. But really, it's just going to require some testing on your end. It could be very much different. It might be determined on what type of USB port you're using, 2.0 or 3.0, the length of the USB cable you're using, type of the Elgato. All those sort of things could make a variation in the sync offset that you require. Next, for those who use a Blue Snowball, and I guess anyone who uses the mic in general, are the filters. So I have 3 filters attached to my microphone right now. I have a noise suppression gate. This you want to add first. These are essentially added in order. So noise suppression removes background noise and humming and that sort of stuff. And that'll be removed first. Then the noise gate, so anything that comes on past the noise suppression that is loud enough to hit this threshold, whatever you deem it to be, will then get recorded and show up down here. Then for those with a Blue Snowball, I jack up the gain. It doesn't have to go up a whole lot, but it has to go up definitely a little. The Blue Snowball does seem to be a very quiet microphone whenever you're using the cardioid abilities of the microphone. Then there are the settings, so the properties for the video capture device. The Elgato, as it says here, is the one I use. There's a bunch of different settings in here. They're pretty self-explanatory, but there are also other settings that the capture card gives you access to, and you'll want to hit the configure video button, which will bring up this box, and then it'll give you other options that you can also set. So fiddle with those to your heart's content. Find out what works for you. Alright, this is Adobe Premiere Pro. It is what I use to edit my videos. This is the state of my video as of right now, before adding in the stuff that I'm recording through OBS, which I'm recording this and the other OBS video, which you'll see in a second, that make up the second half of this video. So, quick explanation. This window here is essentially what your video is. So if you grab this area down here, which is your timeline, you can scroll through things in your video, wherever it may be at, will show up there. This is the effects controls for a bunch of different stuff. You can change your scale of a video here, so if you look on the right, scale changes for the video and you can move stuff around. In the timeline, it's pretty much drag and drop. All the stuff down here are just the different pieces that you are putting together. So you have videos, you have audio, and you have still images, and these are titles. These are essentially just words put on screen. So this here, where it says this information, that's a title. Titles look like text. They can be a lot of different things. You'll see that there's a background there that sort of makes it easy to read. And then over here, these are just stills. So these are just pictures I put in, and then I put some words on top of them. Still images and titles. This is a video right here. This one's also a video. And when you click on them, you'll see that there's linked audio. Those are corresponding audios to those videos. Do you only squeak that when I'm talking? Alright, that's a yes. Down here are different audio that I've put in. You can make these straight into the timeline. You hit this button here. It'll start a countdown, and then it'll just start recording your audio straight to the timeline, and that's where these came from. I recorded them inside the program itself. So you can do post-production voiceover work later if you think of a joke while you're watching or editing, or see something that needs to be said. You can add that later. And then now we're going to get into a quick editing session. This is my OBS video that I just made. This may not be the best way. This is my own personal workflow. This opens up essentially a second video timeline down here. I take this in and I throw it in. The sequence settings were wrong. I just have a generic one. Don't have one specifically for whatever I'm recording at right now. And in here, it looks exactly the same. So this would be the video I went through and just made. That will be sooner in this video that you just watched, because it's going to come first. This is how you edit it. So as I explained in the previous video, you can output audio to different tracks. You'll see that there's 3 audio tracks in here, and there's one down here that's absolutely nothing because the video capture device was recording nothing, and these 2 are exactly the same. This one is the combination of 2 and 3, and 2 by itself is just the mic. So if I had music in the background playing or something like that, this would look different, and you'd be able to edit one out from the other or something like that. But it's very useful in post-production, because then if you notice you want to cut a joke and move it somewhere else, you say something stupid, someone walks into the room and starts talking to you, asking you what you want for dinner or anything like that, and you want to cut that from the video, anything that comes through the mic, you can easily cut it. It'll be separated from the game audio, and you don't have to do some fancy tricks to reduce some noise without affecting the game audio noise, or just have to leave it in even though you hate what's going on there. So I highly suggest this. It's very great. Everyone should use it. Then if you go in and you want to, say, edit something. So I don't like what was said. I'm just going to guess in this area. And later I'll be editing out this dog toy. So you can hit the C button, which gives you see what this is, a razor blade now. You can go in here cut it. Now you have two different things, and say the stuff between So, as you've seen, I've just cut this, and now you have three different things. Let's say all the audio in here and the video and stuff, you don't want it. You could just delete it, but that leaves a big gap in your video. So, if you don't want any of it, you don't want to put anything in its place, you'll hit ripple delete, and now it's just one normal video clip together. It closes the distance, just moves the two things together, and then you just keep going and trucking along. And that's pretty much about it. Then you'll just take the sequence, take it over here, you just drag it into the timeline, and then boom. So then when the video is playing, it'll go along, it'll get to these parts, and then whenever it gets to this part, it'll start playing that stuff. And as you can see, it's at a wrong resolution, so I can just jack up the scale. I believe it's 1.5. Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us determine what content you want to see.